We also contributed to building RF transponders, which ISRO has used, and it's sitting on the moon right now.
You are also CIO, CDO, CTO, CISO, and also an author. How do you manage these multiple hats?
The most common one is always coming down to the simplest things about forgetting the basics. That means you got a big company of that nature to be down for more than 3 weeks, which is incredible. I love the role that I have.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Secure Talk by NK Mehta. As you know, this channel is all about raising awareness about cybersecurity, data security and personal security. Today in this episode, we have a very lively guest, Dr. Prince Joseph. He is Group CIO of Nest Group, SFO Technologies. Welcome to this episode, Dr. Prince.
It's a pleasure. It's such an honor to be having a conversation with you. I have been a good listener of your presentations in other forums, and today I get to sit alongside you and have a chit chat, so it's actually an honor. Thank you.
My privilege, sir. Sir, would you mind telling to our viewers a few sentences about what does SFO Technology does?
Before I start with what SFO does, I'll give you a little bit of background into how I got into SFO. I'm basically an electrical and electronics engineer. But post that, if you look at people who have done this course way back in the 90s, you're going to find a career in IT. So that's what I did. But my core was always, you've done an electric and electronics degree course, which you didn't put to good use. But after going through the career path, it so happened that life gave me a chance to come and join SFO. I was hesitant because it was right in my backyard, and for some reason I kept ignoring it. But once I went in and saw what they do, I was amazed. So they are a hardware focused, but they're also into high-tech electronics manufacturing. Now, high-tech electronics manufacturing is a lot of things. It is, you're doing contract manufacturing for Fortune 100 companies. You're doing original design for Fortune 500 companies. You are manufacturing everything which can be a small component to a full-blown assembly, full-blown product. There are entire MRI machines being made here, which is given to healthcare manufacturers and products. There are aerospace and defense companies that's giving us components. We also do, guidance systems for aerospace defense missile systems, which also goes into our Rafale aircraft. That means it's like a Make in India program. We also contributed to building RF transponders, which ISRO has used, and it's sitting on the moon right now. So the gamut of things that we do is manufacturing, hardcore based on electronics, but when you look at any electronic component, it's got casing, it's got tooling, it's got small power assemblies. So we are probably in India the most vertically integrated manufacturing firm in the electronic space. That means we can take up work which is more complex that nobody else will want to take up.
Okay. Sir, you wear multiple hats. You are also CIO, CDO, CTO, CISO, and also an author. How do you manage these multiple hats?
So when you look at the nature of the enterprise that you're a part of, some of them are regulated by the regulators saying that you need to have these roles separated. At the moment, all of these roles up to me. Where I started off as CIO, the kind of expansion and the kind of re-envisioning of the role, CDO part came in. Security was always important, and right now it's at the forefront of everybody's mind. So the CISO hat is also there. Although I would be looking to federate some of this in the coming days. At the moment, yes, I put all of this on. And I guess, you're also one of those people that you just want to take everything on your shoulder and you're like a little Mr. Atlas. So I think that that nature in me, it is not the same as saying that I want to centralize everything on me. It's just that at the right point, you're able to now find leaders, and I believe it's coming through from the lines itself. So at the moment for the group, I'm serving that function, which is multiple hats. And when you look at the challenge that each role brings for every entity, sometimes having too many C-level executives is also not always good. So you need to make sure that it's done the right way, especially in a family-oriented or family-run business.
Great. Okay, sir, you have driven this digital transformation across multiple industry, I will say, verticals, starting from hospitality to airlines to manufacturing. What's the single biggest security gap in your experience you have observed?
The most common one is always coming down to the simplest things about forgetting the basics. You are always trying to grow, you're trying to expand, you're trying to bring in new innovative systems, processes, practices, and technologies. But what you tend to forget is two things don't go together, which is agility and security. But when you're holding this hat, you need to hold both of these together, and you need to have a momentum which keeps these two in your control. And I think that has been the driving force. But even when you're doing this, what you find is you might find that you'll want to jump into something faster without looking at all the due diligence steps, and you might slow it down. But the enthusiasm of the business to start to gain an advantage from it, you do see risks there. So for me, it's about, balance the speed of it. Going too fast to get something which out of your curiosity and momentum, that may not be the right way. Comes down to everything has got a certain set of basics. If that is sorted, the rest will be all right.
The basics, right. Yes. That's something great. You are very much dependent on core platforms like SAP and D365. They're the heart of your business. Is there any hidden security risks you see in these systems which often tend to overlook?
So when you're trying to have a group like ours, for example, we have now, say, about 26 plus sites across India, and all of them access ERPs. Now, ERP also, we have set it up in such a way that today we have multiple instances, but in a few months' time, it will all be consolidated. What is going to create is, if the ERP system itself doesn't manage the role-based access in a very robust way, you are actually opening yourself up to a great amount of loss, risk, etc. It also means controls. Now, you can't have too many super admins, you can't have too many super users, you can't have the approval levels to be diluted, because what will happen is the impact can be right down on the product line. For example, you got a production going on, but one component has not been ordered yet. So that didn't happen because of somebody tampering with this or some mistake. You might find that a payment has gone out when it shouldn't have gone out. You might find that somebody's changed a bank account when it shouldn't have been done. So all of these, the elements from material, what goes into the product, what is the routing that needs to happen in there, the quality that we need to assure for that process to be followed, plus the supplier customer information. All of this is data that we need to maintain its integrity of 100%. So you really cannot even say that a request coming for ERP access, it can't be blindly approved. You need to say what is your role, what exactly are you going to be doing with it, and based on that, provide the right level of access. And that's the start of it.
Sir, then we can say that you are working this smart industry 4.0. And everything is smartly connected to each other. I was reading somewhere today, cars are moving data centers.
Yes.
So what are the typical cybersecurity risks we are seeing evolving in this so-called interconnected smart world, if you can say?
So the whole journey of Industry 4.0 and the connected factory, smart factory, is very fascinating, right? You see that, and I can see it in our setup itself, because on one extreme, we got a factory that is entirely man-run. Every machine is independent. Somebody with an expert comes and runs this. On the other extreme, we've got an Industry 4.0 factory where in the whole line, there will be 2 or 3 people just observing what's going on, whereas the line is running. So in between, I've got others as well. So you got entire, every maturity level is sitting in there. Now, what's going to happen in the 4.0 part is the machines are now connected to your network. The IT-OT convergence has happened in some way already. Previously, you don't have to worry about it because IT had never connected to IT, or OT never connected to IT. But now, if this data transfer is happening, the OT systems are not designed to deal with the IT threats. None of them are. It's almost like asking somebody who is a football player to go and do a boxing match. So he'll get his eyes to be black and blue. That's what happens. So we need to protect that layer. There is a lot more that needs to come in there, because with the connectedness, you got now visibility. You got control on the whole factory. You're able to now see what's happening in real time. Now, going beyond that, there was never an enforcement of any standards. Even now, if you look at it, the awareness of the Purdue model being implemented or the ISO 62443 being enforced, it's not there. But everybody is aware of ISO 27001, which is still on the IT side. But on the OT side, it's still not mature enough. So segmentation and the governance around that part is a gap. Now, what will also happen on the IT side is, if I've got a data center, I can have a DR data center. I need a server, and you don't need to replicate the whole thing, but my core server applications, I can have a secondary site. But can you do that for a factory and every machine? So therein you start. You need to really protect it much more severely than this, because if it's affected, for it to come back up, you will have a big challenge. What's happening with Jaguar today? They were affected on 30th of August. Today it's the 16th. They're still down, and they're not going to be able to produce till 24th is what they just reported. That means you got a big company of that nature to be down for more than 3 weeks, which is incredible. Now, what's the revenue loss? Maybe they have deep pockets and they can survive, but if we are down for 3 weeks, I doubt how we'll be able to recover.
Plus, the reputational damage also is another thing. Sir, with your enterprise security background, can you throw some light? There are two types of companies. Some companies who think they are secure, and some companies who are actually secure. Is there something you can highlight the difference between these two types of thought processes? I'm sure it's quite an interesting thought process.
It just reminds me of my conversation this morning with my wife. She said, "When did you have your last full body checkup done?" And I told her, "I'm feeling healthy." Right now, I can also recall a good friend of mine who had a heart attack. In fact, he's in my team himself. We never imagined it. So you don't know what you've got, what your ailments are, just by looking at it from the exterior. There is a lot of information that the systems are throwing at you. There's a lot of events and there's a lot of logs coming in. So from an enterprise perspective, that needs to be analyzed. At the moment, what we do is we look for the exceptions. We look for those big ones, which are warnings and red alerts. But there's a lot more information that's coming in, which is saying that potentially in a few months down the line, or a few weeks down the line, I'm going to be crossing this threshold. This pattern is now showing that there's something to be investigated. What is this admin doing in that side of the network? He is supposed to be an admin here. These are all things that needs to be looked at. So assuming that you're okay, and thinking that certification also has got you over the line, comparing that to somebody who is doing a real conscious analysis day in, day out, and a security team that goes beyond by looking at, I've got something, but I need to go find out the root cause of this. I detect a pattern. I need to go find the root cause of this. That's the difference that I see, because most of the teams are happy with putting some tools and doing the basics, but there are the ones who actually, tick mark. And that's what we largely see, and touch wood, nothing has happened. But when it does happen, it's because of the lack of.
Okay. Sir, you have won awards for data analytics and innovation. How do you see AI and analytics changing the way we detect and respond to cyber threats?
One of the things that we did in SFO, the analytics piece was something which is very close to my heart. I wanted to get in there, and we had a really long journey. We also had failed experiments in that space. But each experiment that failed also showed us where we went wrong and why it failed. So it's almost like when you put in a very advanced tool on top of something that is not advanced enough, you're actually putting something which is being asked to do its job, but the ground was not prepared for it. So the first attempt at this, our architecture was amazing. We put it there, but our data was not ready. It was actually so fragmented. And the thing about analytics is, if you're an expert, and when somebody tells you, hey, this is the numbers based on SNS performance, you can intuitively tell, hey, that is right. Or you will say, where did you get this number? How can this be right? Because you know your business. There's a pulse in there. Analytics is the same way. And if you start showing wrong dashboards to some people, the whole project has failed. You need to restart again. In fact, we had to do that, clean it all up and restart again, and then we are going there. But it also meant that you need to do your prerequisites, address that well, and get that to be in place so that we're able to put this. So visualization layer, yes, pipelines, yes, factory, lake, all that stuff. And now AI is getting to the point where, forget about dashboards. Please put in this box what dashboard you want to see, and it generates. So that's the new way.
So, Dr. Prince, we have come to the end of the first section. We'll move into the next section where we like you to answer the questions in 10 to 15 seconds. This is a rapid fire question type, right?
Okay.
First question about this. You are an AI person. We know that. Your passion for AI. Now, if there are two applications which AI can develop, a super premium AI application which will cut down your day-to-day load by 50%, or another application which can predict the mood of your wife before you enter the home, which one would you select?
I would select the second one, because that would mean that we have surpassed even AGI. It's God level AI. And trust me, if that part is sorted, I'll be far more productive on the first side.
It's a problem for everybody, right? Okay, great. Sir, which 25 plus awards? We saw in LinkedIn 20, but I think 25 plus awards. Do you think about keeping an Excel sheet to keep track of it?
It's actually 50 plus now. There's no place for some of them to be kept even. But the thing is, for me, each one of them is very special. Each one of them. So I would say, 50. I want 500. I wouldn't. It's something that I come back and celebrate with the team. So it just gives me an occasion to come back and say, team, we got one more. Let's have a lunch. Let's have a celebration. So if it gives me an occasion to do that, I think numbers don't matter.
Which one would be more interesting to you? A coffee with a very charming hacker? Charming, I mean, surely it must be female. Or a candle night dinner with your wife?
At the start, he also said that I'm moving around quite a lot, traveling quite a lot, and I'm not spending enough time with my wife. If I get a moment which is stolen away, I think I would pick that. I personally I'm a very private person. I'm an introvert, and I enjoy these quiet moments. That's when I get recharged. So with the hacker, I don't know. I really.
So he gave you a hacker.
With the hacker, it is fascinating, right? I'll think about this, but right now I think I'll go with
safe answer is to
safe answer with the wife. Yeah.
Okay, across the industries, what's the funniest IT request you have ever heard? Like fix my Wi-Fi or password being kept as password and still forgetting it.
Oh boy, I need to think about this one. Funniest request. Yeah, I don't want to pass it, but I'll tell you one moment when I joined this company, right? I don't know if it was the way the previous CIO was running the job. One guy randomly walked into my office and said, I placed a request for a laptop. When will I get it? And I'm thinking, you walked into the CIO's office, you're asking me for a laptop, and what are you expecting me to do? Just take it out and give it to you? Or you don't seem to understand this organization suddenly, or I don't understand this organization. That was a moment of an eye-opening moment for me. I realized I have a lot of things to change here.
Great. Last question. Given a second life, would you still like to be in cybersecurity domain or a CIO role or something secret desire you have?
No, I love the job. I love the role that I have. I think it is something which maybe in my college days, I wouldn't have thought about it this way. But this is a place where I believe I'm making a real impact in the company and also in the lives of quite a few people. So to me, that is important. Wherever I'm able to do that, I think that is worthwhile. And I don't think it doesn't matter about changing the jobs. I never imagined or thought about that because I love what I do. The other thing is, if I get free time, I would become a football coach. I would.
Good, football coach. That's interesting. Dr. Prince Joseph, it was a pleasure talking to you. I know we can go for hours, but we have time limitation. So thank you so much. See you once again in some other video.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
It's a real honor.